Well, greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to tonight's second half. Before we jump into this very informative second half, a couple links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support the channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It doesn't cost a cent. Click that like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment and share the video. Why? Well, because all of these things really do help the channel to continue to grow and go. And yes, folks, they definitely matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to tonight's second half, shall we? All right, so Saturday night prior to the live stream, I was going down a rabbit hole. I was going through some information that I had gotten emailed a couple years back, and I was just looking into D.U.M.B.s, deep underground military base, and certain things that transpired around the region prior to the building of the base, prior to the war. And there are not a lot of photographs of Dulce, New Mexico. There's a couple different shots of the town, some stupid computer made kind of signs and stuff that are not there. They're just like, hey, employee of Dulce. Just, really, I don't know. To me, it's kind of dumb, but because I'm looking for something specific. And I ended up finding kind of what I was looking for. I found some photographs of Archuleta Mesa, which, if you're familiar with the kind of whole history of Dulce's deep underground military base, it is built on the Archuleta Mesa, which is a mountaintop. And I found this really old photo, and then I found a photo from 1970, 1980 era, and I immediately stopped because it triggered something in my head. It brought me back to about a year and a half ago. Andrew Dawson, the young Canadian man who had spotted what he thought was a giant walking on a mountainside, and then he caught this rocket landing, right? He made these videos. They were on TikTok. And then one of the videos, he was kind of like, hey, this is all a hoax. I made this up. But he's kind of looking over to the side like, hey, am I saying the right thing? And then he makes a video kind of like his home is getting stormed or he's in danger, where he says, guys, the videos that I was making early on were real. They were legit, da-da-da-da-da. And then he dies. Now, I know there are some other channels out there that said he didn't die, that this is a hoax. His fiance or wife, I don't remember exactly which, but she still posts TikToks about missing her boyfriend or husband, father of her child. He is not resurfaced, and I find that amusing. Not amusing that he passed away, but I find it funny that these channels with millions of subscribers made videos saying, hey, you know, he's not dead. This never happened. And yet I found his obituary. I found the funeral home that actually did the memorial for him and his family. And to me, that's proof. When you find a obit and a memorial, which, you know, at memorials, funerals, usually they give you like a little little card with an angel, or, you know, a picture of a lamb and some kind of scripture writing on the back, and then something about that person that passed away. So that right there was like, okay, what's going on? You know, are these people that are making these videos, are they tourists in this field of kind of the paranormal, the unexplained, and or are they plants? Now, I don't think they're plants, because I kind of think maybe they lack in common sense to be a plant, but it's our government, so I mean, right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a refresher on the whole Andrew Dawson thing. I recorded this video probably a year ago, and a little more than a year ago. It's going to show all of his videos that he created, and then it's going to show proof of his obit, proof of the funeral home memorial, and then we're going to go to the map and check out the region, right? And then I'm going to tie it in to Dulce. And I may be wrong. It might be time that I put the aluminum foil hat on, but I don't think so. I really don't, because I actually spoke to a subscriber about this yesterday and shared some photos, and I said, am I crazy? Am I wrong? Does this? And that person said, yeah, it really is kind of weird, right? Check this out. Okay, really quick, once again, and I feel like I do need to repeat things several times sometimes. I made the video that you're going to see right now a little over a year ago, close to almost 2 years ago, right after he had passed, about 7 months after he had passed. So, yeah. And some of my views may have changed, but not necessarily. I do believe he was silenced. The reason may have changed, and you'll see why, but this is just to re-familiarize you with the videos that he posted and such. Yes, we do remember, you know, someone says, hey, Andrew Dawson, remember the mountain kid? The guy that saw that and that? Oh, yeah. Your brain remembers, but your brain remembers better after you see him again. So that's why I'm going to share this really quick, and then we'll get into the connection. All right, guys. So for the last 7 months, there has been a very tragic and mysterious story going around on the internet and social media about a young man, he was in his 30s, that had captured some video footage of a giant and apparently government involvement a UAP or UFO, whichever you want to call it. Now, I covered it about, 6 months ago when my daughter, my oldest daughter, pointed it out to me. Because she followed her or his girlfriend. We're talking about Andrew Dawson, of course. Now, it has literally blown up. It is probably one of the most talked about deaths, cover-ups, government cover-up. I have no, there is no better word for government cover-up and government shut-up. They pretty much warned this guy to stop, and he continued to do it, and he paid the ultimate price with his life. So, all of you are probably aware of all of the crazy things that went on in his neck of the woods, which is in Canada. By a little area called Cedarside. And interestingly enough, I just want to say this, interestingly enough, Banff is very close to where Andrew Dawson captured that footage. If you're not familiar with Banff, it is notorious for Dogman sightings, Bigfoot sightings. It is one of Canada's hotspots for cryptids. So this guy was in a hotspot and caught some stuff that he probably shouldn't have. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with it, here is some video clips of what he had captured. Now, this is not the only thing that I'm going to share with you guys. After you guys check out these video clips, and for those of you who haven't seen it or don't know what I'm talking about, after that, I am going to give you concrete evidence that this giant and this military base exists. And could the military be using giants as a weapon of war? Check out the video clips first.
What is it?
It's a person, dude. No, seriously, pull over, pull over. It's a person standing there.
No, it's not.
Dude, have you seen what I've seen right now? Do you see how far away it is? How far I have to zoom? Do you know how hard it is to keep a steady hand? If this video blows up, or somebody buys me a friggin' helicopter to get all the way up there. We are on our way. We're gonna go find somewhere closer, and I'm gonna set my camera on something so you guys aren't complaining how shaky it is in the truck. Because, yeah, internet has no chill. But that's the mountain we're going to. But we're just gonna try to get closer. Okay, I'm gonna use this as a tripod to try to keep it steady for you guys. And it's not even there anymore, too. That's where it was yesterday. I spoke to some locals and it comes and goes apparently. I don't know. See, that's me trying to keep it super steady with something There we go. Do you know how hard it is to keep it steady when zoomed in all the way? I just got stopped by like some CIA agent. He told me to turn around, said I'm trespassing. I said it's a public area, like a public park or whatever. Some local told me to take this path. I didn't get it on camera, but I'm going to go again tomorrow and be prepared to be filming right now because he stopped the vehicle. His truck was blocking it. Said some like, environmental issue was going on. I don't know. He told me to go back and said I was trespassing. I don't get it. It was awkward, but I'm going back again tomorrow to see if he's not there. But if he is there, I will keep camera. I will film because the only angle I could get that I found today is the one I just posted earlier, and there wasn't even anything there. But I don't understand why the road's blocked off. I don't know. So they're extracting something out of here. There's 2 helicopters. What the fuck? The guy's here again. Yeah, this is what's going on?
Road's closed. Turn around.
Really?
Yeah, man. Just turn around, please.
Oh, okay. Have a good night, man. So that was fucked up. There he is. I'm driving past him again. Just turned around. I don't understand why it's closed off though. It's a fucking public park or public road or whatever. I think that's the same vehicle from... Hey! Hey guys, I just want to give you an update. I'm not dead. I have not disappeared. I have just been busy with life. I couldn't get around to posting and updating you guys, so now I'm going to give you an official update of what's been going on. Sorry to disappoint you guys, but all of the videos that I posted were scripted. They're just fake. They were just strictly for entertainment. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys. I just need to give you a quick update. You might not see me post ever again. My videos weren't fake.
All right, so some very compelling video footage of a giant, a military base, a UAP or UFO. Then the man puts it on TikTok. Now, as we all know, because it's been in the news multiple times, TikTok is owned by China, the government of China. If you are a business, you are controlled by the government. So state and federal are trying to ban TikTok on state and federal phones, and this Andrew Dawson goes and puts it on TikTok. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, do we really want a silent enemy of the states and of democracy, knowing that we are dealing with, in our own country, things of biblical proportion? No, we don't. We don't want them to know. So I think that's why he was told to, say, hey, this is fake, yada, yada. And then eventually he just didn't care anymore. It's crazy. And then he passes away. Here's that obituary. So this is where Andrew Dawson was standing, right in this area where Cedarside would be. Standing here, looking at these mountains right here, okay? This would be that road that he was talking about going up to the mountain. I don't know if you can see the Cedarside kind of follows this road. And there's a kind of forestry road that comes off of right here. That was closed down. So, people are like, oh, it's fake. No, guys, it's really not. Because what is that right there? And what is this right here? Does that look like a giant? And here is the military base with the antennas sticking out right there. Is the government using these creatures as weapons of war? Here's that road that he took. This is the area where he was stopped by that agent, whoever it was, to stop him from coming here. What is that? You can obviously see this is the base. But what is that right here? To me, this is solid proof that Andrew Dawson stumbled upon something he shouldn't have. And I really believe that he was silenced because he didn't play the game. The game that the government tells you to play by you shut your mouth or else. Now, unfortunately, because of the government, this man's family does no longer have him in their lives. A son is going to grow up without a dad. A wife without a husband. A mom and dad without a son. How incredible is that? It just doesn't get any more solid evidence that this was real. This was not a hoax. This was not a TikTok prank. This was not anything except what he claimed it was. And the crazy part is it Banff, B-A-N-F-F, Banff, is just right over in this area. Right here. It is unbelievable. Here's Jasper. Here's something I want you guys to remember. All right. Jasper. Because in a moment here, I'm going to share with you guys some encounters that have happened in this area. But the crazy thing is this. It just doesn't get any crazier. And that's scary. Because now we know he was silenced because of this. Okay, so now we are familiarized with Andrew Dawson and his videos. There's a little bit of information on his funeral, the obit. And then I pulled the map up of the location, showed you that photo. Now, one thing that did change, I don't think there was a giant on the map that day. I was just looking, and I know that actually it was kind of like this little tower that was there. I do believe he did catch a video of something, and I do believe maybe it was a giant, but that rocket landing is insane. Now, to the connection, okay? A lot of people were like, yeah, that building that they saw is a ski lodge, there's gondolas and this and that. No, that's somewhere else in that area. That is a old weather station. Archuleta Mesa, where Dulce sits, there's an old radio station above it, right? The base itself is something like 1,400 feet below the ground levels, 6, 7, and it looks so familiar, or not familiar, so similar to what I'm going to show you right now. And here's the crazy part is people are like, okay, if there was a giant there, where'd it go? If there's a deep underground military base under that mountain in Canada, who's to say they are not using these giants as weapons of war, as weapons of whatever? And it had come out to move around or do something. Who knows? We don't know. Maybe that ship was landing for a purpose and it needed to manipulate a trap door that is unseen to the naked eye. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on it. I'm just saying there are weird things that surround this whole thing. So here is the connections. Here's the photos that blew me away. And then I'll talk a little bit more about this. Okay, so this right here is the Archuleta Mesa. There are some homes that are here at one point. This is the radio station or weather tower on the mesa. Okay? And it is the same mesa because... And then here's another picture of it. And that weather station, that is right here now. All right. That looks awful similar to the quote unquote, now this is either a radio station or a weather station. I am not sure. There's not that much information about it at all. But the similarities, that's another shot of the Archuleta Mesa. The similarities are just insane. Here is the mountain in Canada, and there is that station area that Dawson tried to get to. This is the road that he tried to go up, right here, following it along with my cursor. He had taken it, you know, back towards where he was, which was, you know, way down here somewhere, over in this area, in town, because this is the true mountaintop of it. Actually, it's 10 minutes away from true summit of the mountain. Now, here are some of the photos from this area. They're taken in the winter. So this is the one in Canada where Andrew Dawson saw the rocket and the giant. This is the building. This was taken about 2 years ago. They find these weird things in the ground. What is that? And then cables going across to these weird kind of, but it just sits on top of it's in the Canadian Rockies, and it just sits there. That almost looks like a rocket head or a missile head to me. I may be wrong. And now the building is empty, right? It's a empty weather station. That's, you can see the background here. There's graffiti, obviously. But if there is a deep underground military base and no way of accessing it, it would make sense to just kind of leave it out in the open. Here's the last thing I wanted to kind of share is right here is the Archuleta Mesa. There are 3 routes to get to where this mountain is in Cedarside, Canada, Calgary. It's almost a friggin' straight line. When you guys think about this, when they are creating tunnels, wouldn't it be easier to make a base, you know, these deep underground military bases, and have it be in a straight line? The tube, the shuttle, or whatever they're called, would go a heck of a lot faster. So right here is a map of some of the deep underground military bases. Right here is Dulce, and right there. I may be wrong, and I'd be the first to admit it if I was wrong. I know someone asked me the other day if they had been listening to a creepypasta channel, and they said, hey, there was a channel that was talking about a deep underground military base under Yellowstone. And I said, well, that'd be kind of hard to do considering the majority of the land underneath Yellowstone is a caldera full of volcanic magma. I think more or less if there was going to be anything in Yellowstone, it would be something much different than a underground military base. There's never been any kind of talk of a deep underground military base, under Yellowstone, except in creepypastas. And considering this is government underground bases right here, this right here, this area would be where Yellowstone is. There's simply not, maybe over here where they're saying there is one, but in Yellowstone itself, in Yellowstone proper, no. Unless these aliens can swim in molting magma. Molting? Anyway. Okay, so, like I said, I may be wrong. This is a theory, alright? I was shocked when I saw the radio towers on the Archuleta Mesa, along with that building. Instantly, I was reminded of Andrew Dawson. Now, it makes sense that the government, and I'm not talking about the government that's on every news channel that can barely tie their shoes. I'm talking about the one government. The government that runs the world. And you all know who I'm talking about. It would make sense for them to build a deep underground base under a mountain, added protection, and kind of hiding it in plain sight, if you think about it. Andrew Dawson's case, similar building. You see a rocket ship or a shuttle of some sort landing or shooting back. It's not a helicopter. It's nothing that, it is clearly a UAP. And then he catches what he believes was a giant. I don't know. I don't know what that is. It's strange. All of the occurrences that are happening up there are strange. He's blocked from going up there. He's, a young, healthy male that passed away coincidentally right after he shares this stuff. And the video that he made where he's looking over, like, hey, am I saying this right? You can see terror. There is genuine terror in his eyes. But then to be deceased after all this is just the straw that broke the camel's back, the whatever, So it's a theory. This channel right here centers around encounters being shared, theories about stuff like this, information being shared. And if it doesn't fit into your puzzle, save it for later, because it may fit into your puzzle a little bit later on. All I know is that when I saw those pictures of the Archuleta Mesa with that building on top with those radio towers, I was instantly brought back to Andrew Dawson. There was not even a second delay. I was like, whoa, wait a second. And I compared the two pictures of the mesa, and I'm like, okay, that is the mesa. I'm like, but that really looks familiar to me. I don't know. Let's get into an encounter. All right, guys, here's a strange experience that happened out in Banff in 1979, the summer, in August. Myself and 3 others traveled from Seattle to do some serious backpacking in the Canadian wilderness. We chose the Drummer Pass Trail outside of Banff. The second day on the trail, we took a fork in the trail. We hiked all day on this crummy trail until it petered out in the middle of nowhere about 4 p.m. Must have been a wild game trail. We ate some grub and talked. My older brother and a friend posted to backtrack and find the main trail. Dave and myself chose to head due west through the bush to the Cascade Fire Road, which ran north to south. We said our goodbyes and went on our way. At about 5 p.m., Dave and I hiked west, blazing our own trail. Just before 10 p.m., we came upon a meadow lit up by an afterglow of sunset when we heard a strange whistle sound come from the left. Ahead, a stream was parallel on the left, but a bunch of bush blocked the view where the whistle was coming from. We stopped. Now came the sound of something walking through and out of the stream in the left. I expected to see an elk emerge from the brush and the trees that was to the right. Instead, what walked out was a dark creature walking on 2 legs. It was 6 to 7 feet tall and 40 feet away. The head came from its chest, no neck, with the top of its head barely any higher than the top of its shoulders. It kept its right profile to me. It walked across the meadow. Arms kept at its side, hanging past its knees. It seemed a slender creature with long legs. There was a lighter patch on one ankle. No bad smell, unknown to me at the time. Dave was all the while watching a second creature off to the right. This one was dirty white-colored, quite hefty. In Dave's opinion, exceeding 7 feet. He saw mostly its backside as it walked out of the tree that was behind me to the right. It apparently headed for the same grove of trees to the far right as the dark one did. The dark one walked with purpose, like it wanted to be out of there. Even Dave said the dirty white one walked like he knew where he was going. We had all we could do to continue out of this meadow with great haste. An hour later, we made it to the fire road at 12 Mile Post. Yeah, still 12 miles back to the car, but we made it. All right, and tonight's final encounter out of that area. Remember when I said remember Jasper? Location of encounter, remote lake, 1 kilometer off a highway between Banff and Jasper. My encounter happened in the fall of 91, I believe. I never mentioned it or reported it outside of my own family. Anyway, no biggie, no pics, no evidence to offer to silence. I got scared and left. On my way back to my job at Jasper Park Lodge from Banff by myself on a new route, not the main trans-Canadian highway, less traveled by tourists. I saw a small dirt road on the north side of the highway that led to a small lake away from the highway, about a kilometer. It must have been a service drop for the highway crews because there was a big mound of sand at the end. I got out of my car and started to hike the perimeter of the lake, when at about 1/3 to halfway around this lake, I started to smell what I took for a dump-feeding bear nearby. I started to hear the usual snapping of twigs and leaf-crunching sounds that came with the late autumn afternoon, which is unusual since bears can move quietly if they want to. They sort of slide their feet, not stomp like us. I continued my course, and the sounds followed me all the rest of the way around the lake. 20-minute hike or so, right back to the dirt mound and my car. I get in my Honda, which seemed very small at the time, and proceeded to turn my head and back out. And then I saw the top of a black, matted, hairy head peeking over a pile of sand, just for a moment. I was a little startled being stalked, and then this head was so close. I was on my own, no weapon for self-defense, so I just left and never returned. I have family that live in the mountains of British Columbia. I lived near Muskoka. So I am used to the outdoors, and we deem ourselves to be tough and brave. I was kind of scared and then ashamed of myself afterward, and didn't want to be embarrassed further by reporting it. Also, I became a lot more respectful of the woods after that. Humans are very small and defenseless when compared to these creatures. Now, I could have been a black bear, but the snout was far too long. My guess, it just took a quick look, caught a quick glimpse, ducked down, and took off. Very creepy. I still have nightmares on the occasion. Anyway, I didn't go back. I didn't need any proof that these creatures are out there. Rangers would have said it was a bear anyway. They didn't need the extra work from the resident hiker when considering the overwhelming tourist population. I'm used to hiking in remote, rugged areas with animals, and I have to say I've never had that kind of strong feeling of being watched or spooked from being followed ever before or ever since. I've had close encounters with bear, moose, sheep, and chased by an elk during rutting season. They go about their business most of the time if you leave them alone. I think it was curious since perhaps I showed no interest in it. So the fear factor was not mutual, just on my end. So it followed me. I could feel its eyes burning on me. I got the sense that it was trying to outflank me to the road. The difference is when you know you are being watched, if you've ever had an experience to compare it to, you can sense something with intelligence is watching you other than just a deer or whatever. That's when you start getting intimidated and that unnerved feeling. Also, the smell did not help, and the sounds and being unarmed and alone contributed to this fact. Anyway, that's what happened to me one afternoon in Alberta, approximately 30 to 40 minutes outside of the town of Jasper in Jasper National Park, just off the highway. Also, I wasn't supposed to stop without a park pass, so I mostly kept to myself because of the ridicule factor, and it was gone. Then afterwards, I wanted to forget about it, so I could still enjoy my hikes and my mountain. All right, folks, I hope you all enjoyed tonight's second half as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Some connections right there being made. Guys, thank you for supporting the channel. It is your support, after all, that keeps the channel growing and going. And honestly, what gives people a chance and a place to share their experiences and theories judgment-free, simply treated with the respect that they all deserve. Guys, stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, pets, family, friends. These creatures are real, they're out there, they're dangerous. Share this information with the people you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Till next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for the truth, and God bless.